Hello and welcome to Turkish Films Analysis. We just played this game just a little bit earlier, and now we're going to go analyze it. So this was a Nimzo Indian. You can see he played pretty well, and then it was a draw at some point, but instead of taking the draw, I lost the game. So we can see here, this is normal, this is how I play. East Indian defense, great defense. Knight c3 is met by bishop b4, the Nimzo Indian defense. He plays the same system I did, Rubinstein stuff, castles, bishop d3, the bishop attack. And this is the way that I played. And now, black has a few moves he can play. The way that when I was white, trying to play this system with white, I struggled against these two moves, queen c7, targeting my bishop. So I started that same way. He played a3. I was used to knight f3. It doesn't matter. If he ever attacks after you've moved your pawn, you take it. And we continue to hammer the center. The center is thoroughly hammered. And now in this move here, I'm supposed to play queen c7. And this is the move that I didn't like as white. But for some reason I didn't. I just took and then played knight c6, which kind of takes away the point. Knight c7 looks at this guy and looks at the other weakness. Knight c6, I don't know what my knight's doing here. Is it going to go here? Is it going to go there? So my queen's much better on c7. My fear was that after takes is an open file to my queen. But basically my queen gets on before his rook can even get there. And I'd done a ton of calculation here when I'd played the Nimzo as white for how to fight against, and I didn't like it. But for some reason I just didn't play the theory here. Okay, so a6 is a pretty bad move. Or it says it's fine, but b6 is better. We go forward. He put his bishop on a2. d3 is much better when the queen isn't on c7. And I play bishop b7. So we can see I've developed my pieces. He's developed his. He has the two bishops, and they're pointed, dangerously towards my king. But for now, there's some stuff in the way. Here he played rook c1, and I played rook c8. This rook wasn't doing anything, so I'm going to contest the c file. Queen d2 makes a lot of sense. And at this point, I wanted to try to nab one of his bishops because I'd rather he didn't have two bishops in this position. So my plan was, after playing the next move, knight to a5, my intention was after playing knight to a5, I was going to play knight to c4. But he can take the rook, and my queen's forced to the file, and then his other rook comes in with tempo. So I captured, he captured back, and I played bishop d5 first. So the idea is that I'm eyeing the b3 square for my knight, which would fork his queen and rook, winning in exchange. I'm still down here. He still has a basically winning position. I played anyway, and the reason's really silly. I saw that after knight to e4, which was a move that I was tempted to make because I win a bishop pair there, that after bishop captures a5 and knight captures e2, that I thought that he plays bishop captures d2, taking back my knight. I was like, oh, I go down a piece there, forgetting that the piece that I traded was my queen. So I still have a queen, so I just super win. So that was the reason why, that I hallucinated that my queen was taken and he took back at the same time. And that's what caused me not to play knight to e4. That's why I played knight b3 anyway. Bishop b4, great move. And he dominates the c file. And we can see that this has been a pattern in a few of my games now, that I'll play moves that end up just surrendering a major file to my opponent, or a major square to my opponent. That a lot of my moves have just not been geared at all towards keeping my advantages, but by giving those advantages away. And the game ends here shortly. After queen c7, attacking the f7 pawn with check, I tried not to trade queens. And of course that just loses the game. The rest of these moves aren't interesting, and I don't think are really worth too much consideration, because I lost my f7 pawn. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to fight out of this one. I traded. Now there is another point of interest coming up here. So he's just totally destroying me here. He's up a pawn. My pieces are on the back rank, his aren't. So everything about his is better than mine, basically. f4 is not a great move. After knight f6, which attacks the e4 pawn, he played f5, which I thought was a good move too. And I was worried that after e captures f5, he plays d captures f5, and my target for winning a pawn is gone. That's okay. There's less pawns on the board, which makes it closer to a draw. And I looked at some of these positions after I play the correct move, which is E captures F5. I'm not confident I'd be able to draw them, but the computer sees that it's a draw, so it's still a blunder. Knight captures E4, and that E pawn's pretty. That E pawn's pretty quick. That E pawn is very, very fast, and I neglected to understand this, and so instead moved my king up in the endgame. You can see the score went from him winning by 1 to him winning by 67, because that is what we call an unstoppable pawn. And he just wins now. It's like mate in 4. Takes him a few more moves than that, but I'm just down a queen and he mates me. So main things to take away in this game are to pay attention and play theory instead of things that I did. The second major thing is to try to not hallucinate. So this is going to take a lot of tactics trainer to see that these moves are okay. And kind of 2 for 1 here, don't surrender major files to my opponent. That's pretty much all for this one. I said it was going to be a short episode. It was pretty straightforward how the game went down. I wasn't very clear on the opening theory. He got a winning advantage. I traded the wrong pieces. He got a major C file, and I blundered my F pawn. That's both a check and a capture. So that one particularly hurts. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys play better than me and that you stay Turkish. Adios.